with generating money, right? Now, not a lot. There's a lot of people. Hey, the top 10% of America is making a ton of money right now, right? Okay, and the next 10% is doing pretty good. The next 10% is doing pretty good. But here's the deal: this country still has 50 million people that are living under the poverty line right now as we speak. That's crazy, isn't it? We don't need to have that. So today I'm going to teach you some of the things that are going to help you, maybe even help somebody else. Maybe this show isn't about you generating more wealth or more money in your life. Maybe it's about you passing it on with some tools that you can say, hey, listen to this show. This show is going to help people change their life, change their thinking, right? So I hope you'll tune into that. Here's what I hear most when talking about strategies to build wealth. Number one, get out of debt and stay out. Build an emergency fund. Focus on tax strategies. Pay off your home. Live within your means. Hire a financial planner. We hear that stuff all the time. In fact, it's all over the internet. When I was doing this show, I thought, let me Google what the strategies are that people use to build wealth. And after reading those time and time again on a whole bunch of pages, I thought to myself, none of this stuff is going to help anybody change anything. I mean, it's great to get out of debt and stay out of debt, but the truth is, we're one of the most debted countries in the world. So why doesn't anybody pay attention to that advice, right? Build an emergency fund? Well, a lot of people are living on the edge, right? We know that, a lot of people are overextended in credit cards. I know I've been there before. It's not a fun place to be. So I'm saying that stuff isn't going to work for you, And I'm going to tell you why. Because we have a lot of excuses going on in our mind. I don't have enough time to do any kind of personal development or personal growth or look at something that might really change my finances for the good. Okay? Too busy. Maybe it's karma. Gosh, maybe I was just born not to have wealth like I need in my life. Or maybe I'm not smart enough. You ever hear any of these excuses? I believe that a lot of people do. Maybe you've never done it before. Maybe you say, well, I don't have the right people around me to do it. I haven't gotten the right schooling. Maybe this is a good one. I don't have the right mate. That's a great excuse, right? Another excuse we use is the timing isn't right. But I want to say, I believe all of those are just excuses. And for those of you that are just being introduced to the Voices of Courage, I've been coaching individuals for the last 21 years. So what have I been coaching people on mostly? Mostly to get out of their excuses. Most of them to get out of their limitations of what they think is possible. I had a fellow today who's been in real estate for many, many years. And he was telling me the specific turnover rate for teams in his business. And when I started to question, well, why do you need to turn over your team every 24 months? He got really defensive because that's the way it is. That's the way it's been in the business. Everybody's doing it this way. I know this is the way it is. And I said to him, well, what are the top teams doing? Not the average teams. What are the top teams doing? And he started to think, well, I'm not sure. Well, let's discover what the top teams are doing. And then I said to him, your strategy is most likely the same strategy as everybody else in the industry. You have a strategy to turn people over every 24 months. Is that not right? He says, well, yeah, that's what we expect. We expect people to do that. I said, well, what if you expected them to turn over every 36 months? How would you build your business around if you changed the strategy and changed the model? And he thought, wow, this is good. So listen, my point here is this. When we get stuck in limitations around money, around our thinking, we believe and we support that with a lot of beliefs, and we believe it's really true. But is it really true? I wrote a book once about 15 years ago. It's called Ask and You Will Succeed. And that book has 1,001 extraordinary questions to help people get life-changing results. Why did I focus on questions? I focused on questions because most people have about 60,000 thoughts a day, and they think the same thoughts every single day, over and over again, and to get the same results every day. But you can break that cycle if you're asking new questions. So I'm going to ask you some questions today, and hopefully this is going to stimulate some thinking. If you were to look at your life right now on a scale of 1 to 10, let's just look at your money life. Scale of 1 to 10. 1 is dismal, 10 is outstanding. Where would you rate yourself? How about in your relationship with money on a scale of 1 to 10? You feel you have a really good relationship with it? Man, I love money. Money loves me. It's flowing in my life constantly. Or do you have something different than that? On a scale of 1 to 10, how is your business right now? Is it a 10 or is it a 1 or 2? How about your career? Look at your career. How's your career? Is it a 10? Are you on fire? You love this career? And I want you to rate other things, like your passion for your business, your passion for your life. On a scale of 1 to 10, where are you with that? Okay. Listen, if it's not working for you, then what? Just acknowledge it. It's no big deal. We can't change what we can't acknowledge. But if you acknowledge it, we can move past it. And we can move past it very quickly. So back to wealth, right? What do you think is the greatest thing that stops you or most people from generating wealth in their life? Since we already decided it's probably not something on the outside that's stopping you. It's probably something on the inside. What is it that you would need to shift, or what is it you would need to believe to be able to generate more wealth in your life? Okay. Now, here's the kicker with this, is that just thinking it alone and asking that question alone probably isn't going to get you there, because you can't outthink your intellect. Okay? Can't outthink. Your greatest thinking has got you right where you are, and your greatest thinking will keep you right where you are. So intellect isn't going to get you there, is it? So you have to go somewhere else. And where is that? You have to go to a higher level of consciousness to get there. You have to tap into the source to be able to experience more joy, more happiness, and more love in your life. And how do you do that? Well, I got a couple guests coming on in the second segment. We're going to be talking exactly how to tap into the source. In fact, they've written some books around this topic. But prior to them coming on, I want you to think of this. Imagine right now, just take a moment. And if you're driving, don't do this. But think about it. But don't close your eyes, right? Keep your eyes open. But I want you to visualize a compelling financial future. Imagine what that would be for you. What does that look like a year from now? Where would you like to be 1 year from now? How much money in your bank account? How much you're debt free, let's say? You're in a place where you're feeling joy and happiness. Start to really envision, what does this feel like to you? By the way, it's not just thinking it, it's feeling it, isn't it? Because if we don't have passion around it, it's probably not going to happen for us, is it? So the next question I have for you is, why is this important? Get in touch with your purpose. If you choose your purpose properly, right? If you choose, in fact, I like a noble purpose, something that's greater than yourself. Why would it be really important for you to be financially free? Maybe it's for your kids. Maybe it's for your grandkids. I know Joseph Kennedy once was asked, why do you create all this wealth? He's the president. He's the president's dad, right? Joseph Kennedy, John Kennedy's father. He said, I generate this wealth so my kids don't have to do it and they can be in service. I thought, powerful. That's powerful, right? So maybe you find a really powerful purpose for generating wealth. If you do that, it's going to help you. I think there's another piece to this, and we're going to be going deeper in this, but I've been a meditator for the last 21 years.
1 minute.
And my life has completely shifted since I learned to meditate and tap into the source. What is the source? I can't feel it. I can't taste it. I can't touch it. I actually can't even see it, but it's there. It's behind everything I do. And in that meditation process, every single answer to the greatest challenges I've ever had comes flowing right through me every single day. So we're going to be talking about how to tap into your source. We're going to be, I've got my two guests coming up, William Gladstone and Gayle Gladstone, and we're going to be right back.
A 501c3 nonprofit is looking for established life coaches with experience in education and career mentorship to build confidence and create clear paths to success. Join our team of experienced coaches in a wide variety of fields, equipped with warm hearts with a passion for lifting up those in need. Our Stars of Courage. Find out how you can make a difference at starsofcourage.org. That's starsofcourage.org. Attention business owners. The feeling of being overwhelmed, stressed out, and facing difficult business challenges goes hand in hand with being an entrepreneur. But there are solutions, and it's time to explore the possibilities. You work hard as an entrepreneur. Give yourself the break you deserve. Ken D. Foster is the business coach for you. Ken has over 21 years of experience with leaders just like you, who trust to share what is truly going on in their business and that thing called life. You're invited to set up a free confidential consultation.
Back in 30 seconds.
Wisdom, guided methods, and unique strategies will bring you to new heights and break through obstacles. Visit kendfoster.com to set up your free confidential consultation. It's time to achieve your dreams because you deserve a successful business and a balanced, happy life. Sound great? Find out how to make this happen. Visit kendfoster.com. That's kendfoster.com. kendfoster.com.
We're back with Voices of Courage. And now your host, Ken D. Foster.
Welcome back to Transition Radio. I want to remind you our show is being brought to you by Women's Wisdom, women connecting with women in friendship and business for over 25 years. You can find them on the website at www.womenswisdom.net. I hope you'll check them out. They're absolutely an amazing group of women. I've been to the groups. I've been to many of their groups, and they let me in. I've got a little in there, so the women let me in. They have this philosophy that says, whereas when they have a man with a group of women, the women show up a little differently. And I submit it's the same thing with men. When we have a women in our group, we show up a little differently.
Most assuredly.
Absolutely. So let me introduce my guest today. By the way, we're talking about wealth and money and building a new relationship with money. And I've got two wealth builders in my studio right now. I'd like to introduce you, first of all, Gayle Gladstone. Gayle is a publisher of Waterside Press. Gayle's managed the career of musicians and actors, including Hoyt Axton. She produced the weekly TV show Kauai Today and previously ran a business building custom homes in Malibu, California. But here's the cool thing about Gayle. Gayle is clairvoyant since birth, and she's used those abilities and the Golden Motorcycle Gang with co-author Jack Canfield. As a literary agent, and by the way, he's my agent, Bill has represented some of the foremost spiritual teachers of the 20th century, including Eckhart Tolle, Neil Donald Walsh, Marianne Williamson, Jean Houston, and Deepak Chopra, just to name a few. He's also been associated and was the agent for the Dummy Books series and has produced. He's worked with the pioneers of the computer revolution. Also, Tom Anderson, Peter Norton, and celebrities ranging from Pamela Anderson to iconic music icon, and one of my favorite guests is Neil Young. So, Bill and Gayle, thank you for being here. I'm glad you're with me today.
Yeah, well, we're glad to be here. Your positive energy and what you're trying to do is so aligned with the things we're doing. We're really all about just trying to help people get in touch with their source, get in touch with their innate talents and abilities, and just live lives of joy and purpose. In your first segment, you mentioned what are the keys for tapping the source. And when we made our film, Tapping the Source, there were two things, and these were almost universal. We interviewed more than 120 people, most of whom relatively famous people, and the two things that were the key for all of them was waking up every morning with a sense of gratitude and finding a way to be of service to others. So you put those two together, that's really the key, not just to tapping the source, but to creating a life of joy. Because when you express gratitude and when you find a way to be of service to others, the universe responds. And the universe will give back to you so much more than you give. And it's not necessarily this tit for tat that you're going to get back. Oh, I invested 20 hours in this. I'm going to get, $50,000. You may not get a penny, but you will get something that you might not be able to measure, but is going to make a huge difference in how you feel the next day and the next day and the next day. And I've helped generate, I added it up coming into this show, I've generated, or at least the books that I've represented have generated over $5 billion in sales. That's a lot of money. That's not really of great significance to me. It's a number, and I've always had enough money to do whatever I want in my life, but I've never actually focused on the money because I grew up with relative wealth, and I grew up around people who had even more than relative wealth. I've been around billionaires. I've been around people who had what I might even call excessive money wealth. And I learned very early in my life that the amount of money you have in the bank is not necessarily going to be correlated with the amount of abundance you feel in your body and the amount of happiness you have in your life. So money is one component. And yes, it's an important component, and you can't ignore it. It's the energy that provides fuel in our everyday interactions in our society. But money alone is not true wealth. It's part of true wealth. True wealth is health. True wealth is relationships. And most importantly, true wealth is the relationship you have with yourself, and whether you want to call it God, whether you want to call it source, the higher energies of our universe.
Yeah. So, Gayle, go ahead. How did you get there?
I was just going to say, I start each day, and I find this a very powerful, important practice, is to first clear your energy. And you clear it by holding your heart and asking Source's involvement so that there's nothing in between you and Source, clearing that energy with an agenda. And then you ground the energy so that whatever you do in the metaphysical world during the day, you are incorporating the physical world. So if you're working or talking or being with others, you're clean, you're clear, and you're grounded, and you are sending energy and receiving energy both from the earth and from the higher source. And then you invite the source in once you're grounded and clean. And the source, to me, I see it, I feel it, and it, to me, recently has revealed itself as the field of love.
I love that. And, I want to ask both of you this. Can we predict the future? Because here's what I think. It's like we do have that dual nature you're saying. The physical and the metaphysical, right? Spirit and nature, spirit and soul dancing together. So we have the thoughts, right? We have that inner world of thought. We have the outer world of material, right? Can we get that place where in our minds where we can start to deeply connect with Source, plant those seeds in consciousness, and actually manifest them in the world?
The answer is absolutely yes. You can't just see the future, you can create the future. And in fact, each and every one of us does create the future. The problem is too many of us are creating a future we don't want. It's
Why would anybody do that?
Well, you're programmed to do it in part. You're programmed by people who meant well, but unfortunately fell into what I would call the illusion trap. And most of us live in the illusion trap, including us. You can't escape it. The world that has been created for us, this world of, just do this and you'll get that. Go to the right school, get the right job, get the beautiful wife, get the 2.4 kids, get the big mansion. This is a formula. Well, it doesn't work. It's not the secret of happiness, and it's not what
it does work. Actually, it works if you want to live in stress and overwhelm and unconsciousness. You can follow that formula.
You can follow it, but what you're going to get is what you're going to get. Whereas true wealth, you may have all that. That may be part of it, but that's just because you like the big house, you like the fancy car. I have all that stuff, but that's not what I'm about. It's never been what I've been about. I've always felt that there was unlimited abundance in the universe. And I've always focused on what can I do that's fun for me to do, that's helpful to other people, that makes other people wealthy, that helps other people. The more I make other people wealthy, the more wealth I have for myself. But more importantly, the more grounded I feel that I'm really here doing something that matters. And that is really the key. Like when you look at true abundance, it's your health. I'm older than I want people to know, but I'm very healthy. I've been healthy every day of my life practically. My dad actually was healthy every day of his life. And a lot of it, and he didn't have the healthy lifestyle, knowing the right foods to eat and everything that we know now. But part of it is he loved his work. He just had a ball with it. And he didn't put money first. He had a publishing company in New York, and you can imagine the price of real estate in New York. And he had these bays because he also had a little shipping. So each bay was probably worth $150,000 a year in rent. But he didn't want to have to walk from a parking lot. So he just used one of them to park his car. And, that was a silly thing to do, but he could afford it, and it gave him joy, and it saved him 20 minutes a day in walking. He would just take off from work, go to the ball game, do whatever he wanted. He worked very hard, but he was balanced. And I'm the same way. I play golf every week, no matter what. I play tennis twice a week, no matter what. And those appointments are more important than any business. I've always said, well, maybe if Angelina Jolie wanted to see me at that time, I would make an exception for once. But I haven't had to do that yet.
That's good. That's good. Gayle, what do you think about this?
Well, the thing that I've found about abundance and wealth is I've had great wealth, and when the wealth waned because of the economy, people would go away. The good friends would stay, and the thing that was amazing to me is with all the limos and the yachts and everything, when that went away, I was still the same person. And so to me, that is wealth, because I can trust myself and my heart is true to whoever comes in with me and is with me.
When wealth goes away, because I've had that too. I remember 2008, I ended up looking around. I was about $3.5 million in debt. I was like, oh my goodness, what did I do? And the income stopped, right? And, so I got I got the blessing to be able to negotiate my way to pay off that debt over a couple of years. But, a lot of times people are stopped with fear. Mm-hmm. They're afraid that they're going to lose the wealth. They're afraid that if they make the wealth, they're going to lose it. They're afraid, if they don't do the right thing, somebody's going to sue them. There's a lot of fear-based thinking that stops people from creating wealth. How do we overcome that?
By trusting that the source is with you, by tapping into that source, you will find that situations come up to make sure you have food, lodging. It may not be what you're trying to manifest at the time, but if you hold on true to yourself and true to your knowledge of the source will take care of you.
So you just mentioned tapping the source.
Yes.
I happen to know that Bill wrote a book called Tapping the Source.
And I produced a movie.
And you produced a movie called Tapping the Source. So, how do we tap the source?
Each one of us has to find our own way. There's not...
You know what?
We're going to take a break.
We're going to take a break, and you're going to answer that when we come right back. All righty.
Attention business owners. The feeling of being overwhelmed, stressed out, and facing difficult business challenges goes hand in hand with being an entrepreneur. But there are solutions, and it's time to explore the possibilities. You work hard as an entrepreneur. Give yourself the break you deserve. Ken D. Foster is the business coach for you. Ken has over 21 years of experience with leaders just like you, who trust to share what is truly going on in their business and that thing called life. You're invited to set up a free confidential consultation with Ken. His wisdom, guided methods, and unique strategies will bring you to new heights and break through obstacles. Visit KenDFoster.com to set up your free confidential consultation. It's time to achieve your dreams because you deserve a successful business and a balanced, happy life. Sound great? Find out how to make this happen. Visit KenDFoster.com. That's KenDFoster.com. KenDFoster.com. Would you like to
Coming
know
back in 30
someone who
seconds.
needs to move from poverty to prosperity? Stars of Courage, a 501c3 nonprofit, is looking for established life coaches with experience in education and career mentorship to build confidence and create clear paths to success. Join our team of experienced coaches in a wide variety of fields, equipped with warm hearts with a passion for lifting up those in need. Our Stars of Courage. Find out how you can make a difference at starsofcourage.org. That's starsofcourage.org.
We're back with Voices of Courage. And now your host, Ken D. Foster.
Welcome back to Voices of Courage. Ken D. Foster here, and today we're talking about how to increase wealth with courage. I want to let you know our show is being brought to you by Women's Wisdom. Women creating business and friendship together for over 25 years. You can find them at www.womenswisdom.net. Womenswisdom.net. So I was just talking to my guest, Bill Gladstone, and his beautiful wife, Gayle.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about tapping the source. How do we tap the source to build wealth?
Okay, and I was just saying it's different for every individual. It's really interesting, this question, because it ties so much to what you do on your radio show. The simple answer is never give up, and you will find a way to tap the source. Your song, I was just listening to, Try, Rise, Get Up, it's really true. Your own story of being on the brink of bankruptcy and coming back. I've had my issues. I've done some crazy things and taken, hundreds of millions of dollars and reduced it to much, much less. So it creates stress even when you have a lot. But one of the reasons I'm a publisher is it isn't one size fits all. Each one of us is going to find the source in our own way. There's techniques we can talk about. One of the things that we've just decided to sponsor is something called The Vibe. And every day you're going to get inspirational vignettes, if you will, from some of our authors that we represent. In fact, Ken's going to have his own channel on this as well. And we have some other very seasoned authors, and we are selecting people who we feel have tapped the source and who are specialists, as Ken is, in coaching and helping people. So we have people like Deb and Ed Shapiro who have written books on mindfulness. We have a new young talent, Mark Gober, who's written a book that we're going to be publishing this fall on the nature. I named the book The End of Upside Down Thinking, The Origin of Consciousness, because it really is about consciousness, about a new way of looking at the world. So maybe one of those will be inspiring for you. We have another book, Radical Brilliance, we're going to excerpt into this daily vibe. And that may be the one for you. So we're going to select probably every 2 weeks a different author. So it's going to be very exciting to, just get this little message every day and then little reminders. And that's going to be one way to do it.
When is this launching, Bill?
It actually is going to launch on Apple first tomorrow.
Okay.
The Vibe.
Uh-huh.
And then by beginning of June, it should be everywhere on the droids and everything else.
Yeah, I want to let my listeners know that the Courage to Change Everything, how to increase your courage and find yourself, is featured up on the Vibe.
Yep.
We've got I think 5 postings up to right now. We're going to increase that to another 10. So if you go to the Vibe, and that's V as in Victor, I, B, V.
E. B.
V-I-B-E. It is
B.
Vibe.
Like
B
the
as in Victor,
vibe.
I, B as in boy, E as in Edward. Yes, okay.
And I've got 10 posts up already myself.
All right.
Sort of kick it off.
Yeah.
And it's not just going to be the stuff you expect. For example, we had a fire on Monday. So one of my posts about dealing with the fire, and actually a question I have, because I'm always seeing the positive and everything, and there's a lot of truth to purification through fire.
Right.
But I have a big question about the smoke. What is the value of the smoke? Because what we're finding is the smoke is really messy to clean up, and I'm not
And
finding the
dangerous.
silver lining in the smoke.
I can tell you the silver lining in the smoke when I lived in Hawaii. I had about 2 weeks into living there. I'm a runner, and I started breathing in the smoke, the fog from the Big Island, right? And I thought it wouldn't touch me because here I'm this runner. Hey, man, within a week I had no energy, right? So I thought, wow, I better find out about this. So I went to the stores, and they said, oh, you can take fog pills, right? Little pills that'll take away the fog. I thought, oh, that's cool. So I started taking them, and they worked, right? But then I found what the Hawaiians do. And the Hawaiians go and they swim every day. When the fog is strong, they're in the ocean because the body is cleansing in the water.
It's going through the pores.
It's going through the pores, right?
Nice.
So that was, now, without the smoke, I wouldn't have gotten the water every day, right?
Well,
Silver lining.
Silver lining. Well, this is one of the things that I think is very important for everyone out there, not just for tapping the source, but just for coping with whatever situation you're in. What I've learned is when you have something that seems to have no positive value, the positive value is that it's telling you to go someplace else. Remove yourself from that situation. When you have a hurdle, whether it's in business or social, that is really causing you severe distress, it's probably a signal, just like we right now are living in a hotel while they're fumigating
your house that just
our house.
almost burned down.
It's like, get out of that place for a while, do something else. And so the smoke in your life, get away from it. And, the smoke can be anything. It can be a difficult business relationship that you should end. It could be a difficult relationship you should end. And what you'll find, if you have the courage, and this is why I like your show so much, it takes courage. It takes courage to change. It takes courage to move. It takes courage to let go of what you think you need.
Be positive.
And if you have that courage and you're ready to take a chance, you may find that you don't need what you thought you needed, and there's something better out there waiting for you.
Isn't that the truth?
And listen to this. So we open our door to the hotel. We have the hotel room paradise. And it's, we have a farm on Kauai. It's Hanalei Bay, muraled around the whole room.
Oh.
We're in the islands. We're in paradise while our house is being fixed.
Well, that's interesting. And, it's interesting because I'm sitting as you're telling you what's the value of the smoke. I'm thinking, wow, I wonder when's the last time they redecorated their home. I'm wondering, do they need to change the colors? Have they changed inside? Do they want to have something more brilliant? Maybe have Hawaii all over the walls. I don't know.
Mural the walls.
But that is the value right there. That's it.
Yeah, and just back
And
to,
that's in the
to
moment.
That's in the moment, right.
To the short answer to how do you tap the source. It really depends on what will bring you calm and peace. It can be meditation. It can be taking a swim in the ocean. It can be walking in the mountains. It can be almost anything. So we're not here to say there's one way, because there's not just one way. There's countless ways. There's a way that is perfect for you, but you need to take the first step and realize there is a source. Once you realize there is a source and open yourself to receive, you will find the best way for you to tap into that
I think
source.
that's true. And I think there's another piece I want to ask you about, Gayle. I think there's a piece that we have to value ourselves maybe at a greater level. I know myself when I've been in situations, I have a high threshold of pain, for good or not, right? As a triathlon, it's good to have a high threshold of pain. But when you're in a situation where you really need to move, and you're feeling the pain, and you're not, it's disheartening, it's discomforting, but you're not willing to take the next step. How do you help people value themselves deeper? How do you help them, like, this isn't okay for me to stay in this situation, or lack of money, lack of wealth, lack of the right relationship and support, right?
Right, because I think how I felt when things would wane in my life is I felt like the 13th note. I would go into the next octave and be so inspired and excited about what was coming next. Because I know when you go through a cleansing, there's a new beginning. And when you tap into the source, I always say when you're aware of awareness, awareness is aware of you. And that's when the party starts.
It's interesting. I mean, when our country in 2008 to 10 went through their cleansing, it was a cleansing, right? Mm-hmm. You know, I believe the stock market never broke 10,000 for the history of the market. And I think we were at 10, somewhere 10, 12, somewhere around there. Maybe it was 12. But what happened after that cleansing is the market went up to 25,000, right? Abundance like crazy. So that, you know, it's in a macro sense, the same principles apply as the individual micro sense. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And you have to purge every once in a while. If you always are eating and eating and eating, you're going to get bloated. You're going to get sick.
Gout.
So every once in a while, you've got to, let's go on a little fast for a day. In fact, in Roman times, it was part of the normal ritual that there would be at least one day of fasting every month.
Well, I subscribe to that, and I usually do 1 day a week, actually. I haven't been doing it for a while, though, but normally I do. Mm-hmm. I do 1 day a week where I do a juice fast, and then 3 days a month. And that relieves the dependence I used to have on food. I remember I used to get hungry just at the sight of food, and then if I didn't get it, I would be emotionally upset, right?
And it's actually a form of self-gratitude to your
2 minutes.
body. So, you know, gratitude in service to your body, in service to yourself, so you can be in service and gratitude to others.
Absolutely. Okay, listen, you both have been around a lot of really wealthy people, right? Mm-hmm. And I know on the vibe, we're bringing those people, so you can get their beliefs in a little app, right? But what do you think are the main, maybe 2 or 3 beliefs that wealthy people hold in consciousness? And I heard your first ones. You know, start with the right attitude and be in gratitude and be of service. What else?
Love, the most important thing for anyone is love what you do. I can even, like you talk about tapping the source, being in nature. I can connect when I'm in the middle of negotiating a deal because I love negotiating deals. I love putting things together and making all the parties like, oh, but I don't want to do this because of this or because of that, and finding a solution. So I just love to solve problems. So for me, that's what I love, and it creates abundance for others. It creates abundance for me. I think if you look at the majority of successful entrepreneurs, they were passionate about what they were doing, and they would have done it for free. Mm-hmm. They just loved what they were doing. So that's the most important thing.
That's good. Gayle, any plus?
Well, I think, but how you know you are doing what you love is when you no longer feel like you're doing it, but you're elevated to another level where you feel as though you're in a zone that is impenetrable.
Well, listen, there's a lot of people out there that are thinking, I'd love to do what I love, but I'm stuck. I can't do that, right? So coming back in our next segment, I'd like to invite both of you to stay on, and let's talk about that. What stops people? You know, they keep stuck. They just can't move forward, right? We touched on it a little bit earlier, but we're going to go deep into that. All righty. We will be right back, and looking forward to it.
Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster.
Would you like to help someone in need to move from poverty to prosperity? Stars of Courage, a 501c3 nonprofit, is looking for established life coaches with experience in education and career mentorship to build confidence and create clear paths to success. Join our team of experienced coaches in a wide variety of fields, equipped with warm hearts with a passion for lifting up those in need. Our Stars of Courage. Find out how you can make a difference at starsofcourage.org. That's starsofcourage.org. Attention business owners. The feeling of being overwhelmed, stressed out, and facing difficult business challenges goes hand in hand with being an entrepreneur. But there are solutions, and it's time to explore the possibilities. You work hard as an entrepreneur. Give yourself the break you deserve. Ken D. Foster is the business coach for you. Ken has over 21 years of experience with leaders just like you, who trust to share what is truly going on in their business and that thing called life. You're invited to set up a free confidential consultation with Ken. His wisdom, guided methods, and unique strategies will bring you to new heights and break through obstacles. Visit KenDFoster.com.
I'm back in 20 seconds.
Free confidential consultation. It's time to achieve your dreams because you deserve a successful business and a balanced, happy life. Sound great? Find out how to make this happen. Visit KenDFoster.com. That's KenDFoster.com. KenDFoster.com.
We're back with Voices of Courage. And now your host, Ken Foster.
Welcome back. Today we are talking about money and wealth, and we're being sponsored by Women's Wisdom, women empowering women in friendship and business. You can find them at www.womenswisdom.net. Hey, question for everyone. What if you could stop chasing money and actually have money work for you? How cool would that be? Think about that. Every week at this time, I like to give you a little excerpt of my new book that's coming out. It's called The Courage to Change Everything, Strategies and Wisdom to Transform Your Life One Day at a Time. Why one day at a time? Because I don't know about you, but if I get too far out in the future, nothing happens, right? It only happens in the moment, and it only happens one day at a time. And just as my guests Bill Gladstone and Gayle were saying earlier, when you wake up with the right attitude, the attitude of gratitude, or you shift your consciousness and tune into the source immediately upon waking, your day will go better. This is why I created this book. So this is day 94, an excerpt. To be courageous requires no exceptional qualities. No magic formula. It's an opportunity that sooner or later is presented to all of us, and each person must look for that courage within his own soul. Never guess who said that? John Fitzgerald Kennedy. A focused mind and a loving heart will clear the pathway of life for you. It is through the art of controlling the mind that all-around success is achieved. Although your conscious mind cannot in itself bring about success, but when it's tuned into the state of superconsciousness, you can be assured of success because it is the superconscious state that you tap into the unlimited power of Source, whichever flows through your body, mind, and actions. According to yoga psychology, there are 5 basic states of mind: disturbed, bewildered, distracted, concentrated, and controlled. Most people spend their days with disturbed, bewildered, and distracted state of mind. But when, through meditation, the mind is calmed, the higher states of consciousness are attained. It is then becomes easy to concentrate the mind and focus the mind on the superconscious states of awareness, bringing in ideas and unlimited success. Today, ask these 3 questions. What is possible for me when I consistently quiet my mind? What can I commit to doing that will upsurge my success? And how can I consistently make choices with a calm mind? Actions. Write down 3 actions that will empower you today. You can get the book at thecouragetochangeeverything.com. thecouragetochangeeverything.com. It's coming out in September of this year, but you can pre-order it online. And my host is actually my agent and publisher. His name is Bill Gladstone and his beautiful wife, Gayle. And we are going to talk about some more of those reasons why people just don't generate success in their life.
So why are people in general having so much resistance to fulfilling their potential? That's really what
that's
it comes
really
down
the question.
To. Because we're not all here to be Bill Gates. We don't all have to be billionaires to be happy. I am willing to bet that there's a lot of people happier than Bill Gates. I haven't met Bill. I don't know. He's happy enough. But it's not about the size of your bank account. It's about your balance in your life. It's about your ability to control your own destiny, your ability to live the life that you choose, and to be able to be flexible and to understand that in your darkest moments is probably your greatest opportunity. when something is really bothering you, when something goes wrong, you lose your job, you even lose your home, things that we consider absolute calamities, instead of panic, just give into it, let it flow over you, and see where you are at the end of it, and see what remains. Hopefully what remains is a strong inner being and inner sense of purpose. Once you connect with that, you may have been off purpose. In general, I would predict that when disasters happen to anyone, it's because they're not living their purpose. So when something bad happens, instead of looking at it as a calamity, look at it as an opportunity. And I speak from experience. I was actually fired by Harcourt Brace Jovanovic, not for good reasons.
This is one of the top publishing companies in the world.
This was when I was still in my 20s. And, most people would have been horrified. I was kind of delighted. I mean, I had, an hour or so where I felt, oh, what's this going to be? But within an hour, I actually had created another opportunity for myself. And it led to things that I would have never been able to do had I remained with Harcourt. I was at a very high level, and I had a very good situation with Harcourt, so it would have been hard for me to willingly just walk away. So it was really not that I knew it at the moment, but it was really a blessing that I was fired. And so you out there, it may be a real estate deal that's gone wrong, it may be a partnership that's gone wrong, it may be a marriage that's gone wrong. Whatever it is, as quickly as possible, get over it and get on.
Well, go ahead, Gayle.
I was just going to say, like Ken said, when you quiet your mind, your mind is then unifying with the universe, with consciousness, and that allows consciousness to come in and partner with you on your solution.
And that's it. That's it right there. So, what I've learned over the years is the more that I can become aware and expand awareness, expand that presence, the more success and wealth flows into my life. And I'm not Bill Gates, but I'll tell you what, I live one of the wealthiest lives. My people, all my friends are like, how do you live such a wealthy life? I do it one day at a time. I do it with what we're talking about right now. I practice those principles, and I have a couple gifts. One, I have the courage to explore new things, and I do. In my younger days, my courage was unfeathered. It was a little crazy, so I would do crazy things. But today, I combine it with wisdom, and I combine it with discipline. Consistently disciplined every single day. I have a practice. Systems work in business, and systems work in our life. Like Bill said, when I wake up every morning, my eyes go to gratitude. They did this morning. I thought about that, and what I'm grateful for. If I'm a little upset or something's off, I know it'll pass, but then I'll go meditate for a while and then take care of my body needs, right? Part of my needs is usually a little exercise sometime during the day. But they're just basic things. They're not something that has to be this massive, crazy thing that people have to do to create more success in their life.
And discipline can be fun. I think discipline is so underrated because the word discipline, I'm going to discipline you.
Right.
Well, we used to call academic areas disciplines. There's nothing wrong with becoming an expert at what you love to do, and that takes discipline. Without discipline, we wouldn't have had a Picasso. We wouldn't have a baseball player who hits 400. It takes discipline. Go back and study Ted Williams, how hard he worked. He loved what he was doing. He loved to hit. Whatever you're doing, bring discipline to it. So I just wanted to jump in on that.
That's really good. And, here's one thing. We just got a short period of time. I want to get Gayle's comment on this real quick. Somebody gave me the advice yesterday. Earn a black belt in hate. Right? Then he said, here's the proverb. Learn to hate the right things well. And I thought, what the heck? I've spent all my life trying to love. What do you mean hate? Then I thought about what I hate, and that's what we're talking about today. I hate poverty. I hate people struggling. I hate people that are hurting themselves on a consistent basis. Gayle, what do you think about that?
Well, I think when you approach hate, love, anything that is a part of your life, and that, of course, is a part of all of our lives, the most important place to go is understanding. Understanding, once you understand everything that is approaching you, you will find a solution.
I love that. All right. Well, listen,
2 minutes.
It's been an incredible experience with me. Bill, let's talk a little bit more about that vibe.
Well, the vibe, I mean, it's coming tomorrow.
It's coming tomorrow. Okay,
We've got great people lined up. Barbara DeAngelis is going to be contributing. We've got some brand new authors that you haven't heard of yet. Diana Cole, whose father was one of the founders of the entire human development movement, is there. So we've got this great store of fantastic authors. Ken's one of them. I'm one of them. You know,
where do they find it?
They find it, The Vibe. It's an app. It's available immediately starting tomorrow. If you have an iPhone, and it'll be available, on any phone. It's a device to get through your phone.
And by the way, we're going to put this up on our website. Right. So if people go to voicesofcourage.us, they'll be able to get the Vibe app right there on my website. So the voicesofcourage.us. Bill and Gayle.
I just want my final comment to everyone, because sometimes people feel guilty because they're trying to improve their own life. When you improve your own life, you're making a contribution to everyone's life. We're all in this together. The more abundance you have, the more abundance there is in the world, the more you can give to others, the better your energy is going to be. So never feel guilty about becoming extremely wealthy.
Great. Gayle, real quick,
Yes,
how do they get a hold of you at the publishing house in case they want to do that?
B. Gladstone at Waterside.
No, that's me. Just go to waterside.com.
Oh, okay.
There's a way you can do it.
Okay.
Waterside.
But I do want to add one thing. Remember, you had the courage to forget, and you came down here. So you are already courageous.
Love it. All right. Come back. Voices of Courage. Tell your friends. Love it. Facebook Live, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in and letting all your friends know. Please give us a few likes out there if you would. We'd appreciate that. Also, you can, of course, go back to voicesofcourage.us this week, and you can listen to the show constantly. I want to also let you know this. If you just tell Alexa, play Voices of Courage podcast, it'll come right up, the current show. And I believe you can do the same thing with Google, and I know I can do it with my iPhone and my car. So I hope you'll tune in. Bill, any thoughts, final thoughts of Facebook people and Gayle?
Well, you should just read our books. We've got great books. The Tapping the Source book, Gayle's film, Tapping the Source. That's a good place to start. Try out this Vibe. It's brand new. I think it's going to be fun. And just, be happy. Life is good. Pay more attention to what's good in your life. The bad things, they happen. Deal with them. Don't over-focus on it.
Good advice. Gayle, any final
just
thoughts?
Remember that when you give, you're extending your hand. And when you extend your hands, you are able to receive and bring it back to you.
I love it. All right. That's it. Many blessings.